Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here this afternoon. It's obviously a very exciting event. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Molly Radzinski. I'm the co-interim director of athletic communications. And basically, I'm just going to hand it over. And we'll start with our university senior vice president, Mark Politaico.
Molly, thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to join us today. On behalf of President Beverly Warren and the university community, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out today to welcome Todd Starkey. I know President Warren would love to be in attendance, but she offers her support and well wishes to Todd. I also know that she had an active and engaging role during the search, and she's looking forward to supporting the women's basketball team in the Mack Center next season. Our athletic program, and especially our student athletes, and they're wonderfully represented here in the first couple rows here today. Good afternoon, ladies. They're great ambassadors for our university, and I'm confident that Coach Starkey will build upon that great reputation and trend. Congratulations, Todd, and welcome to the Golden Flashes family. With that, please let me introduce to you the next head coach for women's basketball at Kent State University, Mr. Todd Starkey.
She'll introduce me.
Thank you very much. And next up, we'll have Director of Athletics, Joel Nielsen.
Thank you, and good afternoon. I was going to actually have Todd introduce me there, switch it around a little bit. But thanks, Molly, and thanks, Mark, for coming over and representing Bev. It is an exciting day, as Molly said, for the basketball program and our entire athletic department. Before I start my comments, I wanted to thank President Warren also for her involvement. As many of you know, it's probably not the best timing for her to be involved in any kind of search, but she was involved. She was actively engaged, whether it's emails or text or phone calls. I just want to let you guys know that she was engaged throughout the entire process, and she made a point to actually sign the contract with Todd, and I really, really welcome that counsel and that advice that she provided me throughout this entire process. Also, a big thanks to our women's basketball team. These transitions are never easy. I stood in front of this group a few weeks ago, I don't know how many weeks ago it was now, and said, you know, it's probably the first time for this for a lot of those student athletes, a lot of our student athletes, and that we'd make it through. You know, I appreciate your support, your understanding, and definitely your patience. Because I know that you guys were chomping at the bit, I'm sure, waiting to see who the next coach was going to be. I'd also like to thank Casey Seglis, our Deputy Athletic Director. Where's Casey? Casey, wave. Casey over there, our Deputy Athletic Director, who actually is sports supervisor for women's basketball, for all the work that he does with the sports that he represents, but especially women's basketball during this time, and also during the search. Casey really was running the search from an internal standpoint and did an excellent job. Also, I'd like to thank Emily Hurd. Where's Emily? Emily's over there, back there in the white, out of our office also. She was basically the one who was running the search inside from a logistical standpoint. And for any of you that wouldn't know what goes on with that, there's a lot of moving parts. And I appreciate Emily's work and outstanding efforts during this search. As many of you know, search processes go all different directions. There's twists and turns. There's other jobs that are open, other jobs that are being filled. I've been involved with this, with searches for, I've been an athletic director for 16 years, so I've done a few searches in my day. And I can tell you this search didn't disappoint us from that end either, that there's a lot of twists and turns. We did have a lot of interest in the position, as I mentioned a couple times publicly. We had around 80 applicants for the position, really a diverse background of experiences out of those 80 candidates. The thing that we heard, Casey and I especially heard over and over, was from the candidates was the excitement that they could feel and could sense of bringing back women's basketball success to Kent State, because we've had a lot of women's basketball success here. And the candidates, to a person, talked about that. That's probably what we heard first and foremost from the candidates was, I want to be that person to bring success back to Kent State in our women's basketball program. So I knew we were going to get very competent coaches that were interested in the position. Some of the things I was looking for, and all of us were looking for in this replacement, was we're looking for winners. That's what we recruit. We have a bunch of them right here. We're looking for winners from a coaching standpoint, coaches that have won, coaches that understood Ohio and our regional recruiting that we do here. It doesn't mean that we don't stretch out national or international. Welcome, New Zealand. That we do stretch out, but really that understanding of Northeast Ohio, and our region from a recruiting standpoint. Another thing that we felt was important was head coaching experience. We talked to a number of candidates with head coaching experience, someone that could bring that level of understanding of how to run a program to our program. We felt that was critically important. Another piece was Division I experience. To run a Division I program, I've worked at different levels as an athletic director, and I know coaches that move up through the system. It's different every time that they move through the system. And Division I now has really changed. Even in the past 5 years, it's continuing to evolve and change. So Division I coaching experience was important to us to meet that ever-changing landscape, I guess, of Division I. We're also looking for, and this was very critical when we talked to the candidates, was someone who understood the place of women's basketball on the university campus and also within the community. There's always a connection between all of our programs and the community, both university and in our area. But it seems like especially women's basketball has always seen that direct connection with our community, and so we wanted someone that understood that and could execute that once they got on campus. And not to overlook our fans, we wanted someone that could bring back some excitement to the Mack Center when they come out to watch women's basketball. Someone that could excite our fans and really bring that sense along with them, along with our young ladies. When we started talking about Todd, I had a little insight that many people, that I probably didn't have on a lot of candidates that I had on Todd. Todd actually, as most of you know, is a head coach of Lenore Ryan in Hickory, North Carolina, and his former athletic director is someone I've known for 25 years. So it was a very easy reference call to Neil McGahey is his name, to Neil. And I just jotted down a couple things that Neil had to say to me on the phone. Todd's a winner. He's a gentleman. He's a great father. He's extremely devoted to his students and job. He understands the game inside and out and is great with X's and O's. His players play hard for him, and he's all about academics. I mean, what a great fit for us at Kent State. The only thing I think I forgot to ask Todd, and I haven't even asked him yet, is if he would bring those Candy Stripe warm-ups from Indiana with him. If you guys are familiar with those Candy Stripe warm-ups, I think they warm in women's basketball over there. We might have to talk to our Under Armour supplier to see if that's something that he has in mind. But I think that's the only thing I missed on the references was the warm-ups. But with that being said, it's my pleasure to welcome and reintroduce our new head women's basketball coach, Todd Starkey. Congratulations, man. You don't have to put it on.
I don't?
No.
I'm not sure it would fit.
No. There you go. All yours, Coach.
Well, this is an incredible day for me, and I appreciate all the support that I've had here at Kent State in getting here to this point. I want to thank President Warren, and I'm going to talk about her in just a minute because she had a big impact on me making a decision to come here. I want to thank Joel Nielsen and all the involvement that we've had, the correspondence and communication. It's been incredible this week, and Casey as well. I've worn out his phone back and forth, just talking about this opportunity and some of the things that were really important to Kent State in making this hire, and felt like those things met up fairly quickly, and started seeing that this was going to be a place that I could really continue my career. This is really kind of the culmination of over 20 years of hard work for me. This is a dream come true. And I've worked hard to get here, and I've had a lot of people that have helped me get here. And I want to speak about those people as I go. But first, I want to talk about my drive back from Kent State back to Bloomington just a few short days ago. I was stuck in rush hour traffic in Columbus, like many of you maybe have experienced, and wasn't having the best day necessarily, trying to figure out the process of possibly leaving a program that meant a lot to me, that I've put a lot into in the last few years, and the possibility of coming to Kent State. And was stuck in rush hour traffic, and I got a phone call. And I'd already spoken with Joel a lot about President Warren and how excited she was about the future of athletics, the vision that she had for Kent State University, and what that meant to the future of women's basketball here. And we spoke about her health issues and that she wanted to be a part of the process and that she was going to try and reach out. Well, she called me on the phone, and we spoke on the phone for about a half hour, and rush hour traffic didn't bother me a whole lot anymore. Because her enthusiasm and excitement for the future of this university, the future of athletics, and the future of women's basketball was palpable. I mean, I was really excited in talking with her. She has a passion for the people in this room. She has a passion for this university, and she has a passion for women's basketball, and so that was very evident. So when I got off the phone with her, I said, you know, if they offer me the job, I want to work in an environment like that, and that really helped solidify the decision for me. I'm really a product of a lot of really good coaches, and it goes back to my 7th grade basketball coach, Coach Lauren Mitchell, back in Canfield Middle School, and I learned the fundamentals and foundations of the game starting in 7th grade back in Canfield, and then my high school coach from Canfield High School, John Cullen, who's now the head boys coach at South Range High School, and I've leaned on him over the years for insight. I got my love of the game from him, and the reason why I'm here is probably because of the start that he gave me in playing high school basketball for him. Then my first boss, Bill Robinson, who's the men's coach at Milligan College in Tennessee, taught me to have a heart for your players, that it's bigger than the game of basketball. It's more about life and what you can use the game of basketball and athletics to instill in the lives of young people. John Lentz, who was a coach that I worked for at Lenoir-Rhyne as an assistant men's coach, and he really taught me a lot about X's and O's and about the discipline it takes to be successful and win championships. Then my last boss, and I want to say thank you to Terry Morin and the Indiana family. Terry saw something in me in bringing me to Indiana when she got the job there, and she wanted to turn that program around and turn it into a winner. And I said, I'm on board for that. And so we worked really hard. Coach Morin has a great passion for the game. Indiana women's basketball had an opportunity to do some things this year that they haven't done in their history. And we had a great run this year, won 21 games, most regular season wins in school history, and then made the NCAA tournament, first NCAA tournament win since 1983 there. So that was pretty exciting for a school like Indiana that lives and breathes basketball, as you know. So Coach Morin has been a great influence on me over the last few years, and there's going to be great things coming out of Bloomington in years to come. Some camp coaches that I've worked for over the years, and they're 2 Hall of Famers. I spent 15 summers working basketball camps at Duke for Coach K. And I spent a lot of time at camps taking notes, just watching him and observing him. And what I learned from Coach K is the power of effective communication, the way to deal with people, how to motivate players. And he was a great influence, without him even knowing it most times, in building me as a coach when I was a young head coach. And then just one summer out at Stanford working for camps with Tara Vanderveer, and watching her walk across campus with young campers and eating lunch with elementary school girls and making sure that they felt important. And so I was always an observer of great coaches. I want to continue to be an observer and learner from great coaches and great mentors, and I will continue to do that here at Kent State. I want to speak briefly towards what this program and the direction that we want to go in. So this is going to be the PSA on women's basketball here. All right, that stands for passion, smart, and adaptable players. That's what we're going to try and do here. We want passionate players at Kent State. We've already talked with the team a little bit about what that looks like. We want a smart team, okay? We want to be able to play the game with efficiency, and everything we do is going to be towards winning. And then we want players that are adaptable, that we can do different things with. We can adapt based on a scouting report to who we're playing and be effective in beating that team that night. So those are some of the things that we're going to talk about with our players as we're moving forward. We got to have passion, okay? We got to be smart in the game of basketball, and we have to be adaptable when things change, because they always will, okay? So with that said, I also want to thank my parents. Growing up in Youngstown, Ohio, was an interesting experience. You see all kinds of things growing up in Youngstown, okay? But I will tell you this. Growing up in Youngstown and Canfield made me who I am. And it's a proud people that grow up in northeastern Ohio, this whole region of the country. And very, very proud people, very hardworking people in northeastern Ohio. And I'm excited about this homecoming for me to get back to where I was raised and the values that I was instilled with in being in northeastern Ohio. A lot of people ask about style of play. Every coach speak. We want to play fast. We want to play exciting basketball, get people in the stands. We want to play good basketball, okay? And so the thing that our players are going to hear over and over again about our style of play is talk, box, and run. Okay, those are three big words in our program. We're going to be a program that communicates very well on and off the court, right? We talked about that yesterday a little bit. All right, we're going to be a program that defends. All right, we have to get stops on the defensive end to be effective, especially in conference play when every possession matters down the stretch. Everybody knows what you're doing, okay? Then we're going to end every possession with a box out, and we're going to try and get out, and we're going to run, and we're going to try and score before the other defense is set. And we're going to try and create easy scores that way. From there on out, there's a lot of things that go into successful basketball, but the biggest thing is from day one, we're going to have a championship mentality. All right, we're going to talk about winning MAC championships from day one, whether anybody outside this room thinks we can do it or not. That's what we're going to build our program on. All right, and so when we start every season, the team asked me a few days ago, what are your goals for this program? And I said every season starts 0-0. All right, and our goal is going to be to win a MAC championship every year until that's mathematically impossible, okay? And so that's what we're going to build our program on. I couldn't be more excited to be a part of the Kent State family, and really excited about the future here. So thank you very much.
Yeah, let's do some questions now.
Everyone want to open up to some Q&A. Just raise your hand and
Just tell me about the process. When did you first hear the Kent job? What was the process like? Did you look at film? Did you talk to players? Talk to other coaches? What do you?
Yes.
Repeat the question in case.
All of that. The question was about the process. When did I hear about the job? Who did I talk with in the process? What did it look like? The process was interesting, and it actually happened pretty quickly for me in the last week to 10 days. But the biggest thing was the initial contact that we had. The first contact that I had was with Casey, assistant athletics director, and we had a conversation about why Kent State might be a good fit for me. And then I asked some questions about some things about the direction of the university and the athletics department. And then the process started with me making a lot of phone calls to a lot of coaches. I think I spoke with over 14 head coaches, Division I, Division II, assistant coaches, Big Ten coaches. I had a lot of people that were very willing to give me insight in that department, and I'm very grateful to some of those people. A Kent State alum, Joe McEwen, who's the women's basketball coach at Northwestern, has been a mentor for me, and Joe was very good to speak with me, even in the midst of this busy recruiting time. So spoke with a lot of coaches, spoke with some university administrators that I know, and got some insight from some people that I value outside of athletics that have been great mentors for me in my life as well. So was pretty exhaustive over the course of the process, but very quickly it happened.
I just know in the process, do you look at film? Do you talk to people who play Kent State?
Oh, sure. I have some good friends that are in the league, some head coaches that are in the conference that, that I spoke with and spoke about the team. We look at some synergy statistics and season box scores, some film, and so went through the process to really try and evaluate some things, at least on the front end. But a lot of that for me is more about, it's really about building a culture and growing a program with the players that we have being the foundation, and then continuing to be very active in recruiting, starting in Northeastern Ohio, all of Ohio, and then the Midwest and other places where we have contacts. Oh, I met the team when I interviewed. I had some good time with them when I interviewed. I didn't scare them too much, I don't think. And then we had our first team meeting yesterday, and it was really excited about the time that I got to spend with them, and some of the great feedback I got from them as well. Yeah, we're leaving this straight into workouts at 2, so we're gonna hit the ground running with it, no doubt about it. So, in the back.
You said you got a lot of your passion from Canfield. I was wondering, from the coaches, what specifically, how did they really instill that in you?
Well, Canfield's a great community, and I really, growing up there was great for me. It was a very safe environment, but it was a very athletic-minded school district. That was good in a lot of different sports. Really good coaches there when I was growing up, whether it be basketball or tennis or track or whatever other sports I enjoyed playing. Soccer was my first sport when I was a little kid. So, but great coaches there all the way up from the the little leagues and things you played, then all the way up through high school. And Coach Cullen was just he was a guy that was just kind of married to the sport almost. It was just, we were always in the gym. You always looked forward to being there. He was very creative at making things fun for us, but very competitive at the same time. Instilled some really strong standards for his players, some strong expectations, and but also at the same time, we really enjoyed it. We really enjoyed the process of being successful. And I think the team that I was on in '89, I'm dating myself here. My senior year at Canfield was our first outright Mahoning Valley Conference championship. I think the conference has changed now since then, but the MVC championship was our first outright championship in school history. So.
How about looking for assistance? I'm the one guy who probably covers the team more than anybody.
I gotcha. Well, we need to be good friends then. So do you drink coffee or what? No. Absolutely. Putting a staff together, the right staff together is paramount in the future of our success. I've got some great people that I have in mind. We're going to really kind of go through the whole process to vet that out and see exactly what that looks like. The right staff for another school isn't necessarily the right staff for Kent State, so making sure that I'm hiring people that are going to be good at helping me recruit this area and the state of Ohio, but also are adept at working with all kinds of different things, whether it be compliance or academics or fundraising and marketing. Those type of things are important to the future of our program as well. So all those factors will come into play as we're putting that staff together, and hopefully it'll happen sooner than later.
Do we interview any current assistants?
We've talked. I've had conversations with all of the current assistants, and I'll just leave it at that.
You mentioned it was a dream to obviously be a head coach. I'm assuming you're talking to Division I level. I'm just wondering, going back, when did it kind of hit you that this is what you wanted to do?
Be a coach in general, or be a head coach?
Be a head coach and then maybe at this level.
Yeah, I think the process for me in just being a coach was I didn't really know what else I wanted to be that passionate about doing with my life. Basketball's always been an important part of my life from a young age, and from Saturday morning basketball in the 4th grade, it's just kind of something that has been in my blood the whole time. And then so just went through that process as I finished playing. And I still had to get back in the gym. I played some exhibition basketball, some semi-pro ball, touring around after my college career, and got to play a little bit overseas and really enjoyed that. And didn't spend a long time away from the gym before I knew coaching was going to be my passion. As far as being a head coach, I started on the men's side for about 7 years and really just went after it and tried to make some things happen. My former boss, Neil McGahee, who is also friends with Joel and has known him a long time, I was an assistant on the men's staff, and he saw something in me that he felt like would be a good fit for the head women's job. So I owe Neil a lot in this process. He gave me the first opportunity to be a head coach. And like I said, I just ran with it. I didn't know a whole lot about the women's side. I knew basketball. I felt like I had some good connections, but really kind of ran with things with the program at Lenoir-Rhyne, and some really good things started to click pretty quickly for us there. And so that it just it kind of ran from there. You don't really chart out the path you have as a coach. This business is so fickle between wins and losses and how you do, how you're perceived, and all those type of things. So it was really about me just going through the process and being the best coach I felt like I could be where I was, being a good steward of the program that I was in, and then hopefully the right opportunities were going to come my way.
Have you seen enough of the team to kind of evaluate strengths and weaknesses type things, things that you want to see and improve on, kind of be a real key to you?
You know, I haven't really tried to drill that down too deeply, because I think that it's not necessarily about who they were or where they came from. It's more about where we want to go. And so I told them yesterday they all have a blank slate with me. You know, we're going to get into the things that are about successful basketball from the start. And there's a process here. I'm learning them. They're going to be learning me. We talked about the biggest process is learning new terminology and kind of how we go about the things that we're going to do and be successful at. And so I really, to be honest with you, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time. We're going to spend the time that we need to evaluate what's been here before and the process from last season. But the biggest thing for me is moving forward, creating a vision. I love the John Gordon quote, leadership is a transfer of belief. And so I got to get them to believe in me and what I'm trying to sell them. And so that's the biggest thing for me is really talking about the passion that we have for winning basketball and championship teams, and then really going out from there.
You mentioned looking for assistant coaches. Obviously, that was one of the main things next few weeks you really concentrate on. Anything else that you really kind of want to hit hard?
Well, we're going to be out recruiting this weekend. It's our last opportunity to be out recruiting, and so be jumping on a plane tomorrow and hitting some places that we feel like are really important, where there's some teams that have Ohio players, but all over the Midwest that I'm familiar with, whether it be AAU programs or specific players that I think would be a good fit here for teams in the future. Okay, we're looking, down into the 17, 18, 19, even 2020 classes at players that are coming up. So recruiting never stops. People say, "What's the recruiting scene?" It's all the time, and so that's a priority for the future of this program. The biggest priority is at 2 o'clock and getting with them in workouts and kind of seeing some things and really starting to build some relationships with them that I'm really excited about, working with them with things. That's the biggest priority is our existing team, and then from then hiring the staff, and then just figuring out my way around campus, finding a place to live. That might be a good idea. I don't think they're going to keep me in a hotel forever. Okay, yeah. So it's those are the front burner issues. Yeah.
Just one more. I mean, without having seen you in action as a head coach, what can fans kind of expect? What do you like on the sideline during the game?
Depends on how we're playing. It's situational. I would say all the players that have played for me in the past, all the Lenoir-Rhyne players that I had the privilege to coach, and I coached some amazing young women now that are getting married and having starting families, and I've heard from a number of them throughout the last few days. That's a really big thing for me. But I think all of them would say I'm a passionate coach. Coach Starkey's passionate, and but for me, it really is. What does our team need to hear from me in that moment towards us winning the basketball game? And sometimes they need me to be excited and passionate. Sometimes they need me to lower my voice and communicate real clearly what we need to do in this moment when there's a little bit of chaos going on. So I feel like I'm an adaptable coach, and I really am. It's based on the situation probably.
What does the NCAA let you do with this time of year?
Yeah, it's a little bit limited in this time of year, and so we'll work well within the guidelines of what the NCAA lets us do. Sure, with a new coach coming in, I would love to be in the gym with them a lot more than we're allowed to be at this point, but that's the way we'll do things. But we'll be able to do some workouts. We got a great strength coach here in Bob that has been giving me some guidance on. I think he's in the room somewhere, but there's Bob. Been giving me some guidance on what they've been doing and the direction that we're going to go and with things. And we're probably not going to change a whole lot of that as we go through the next few weeks, and just really trying to continue to get them in better and better shape and ready for what's coming. But then we'll do some skill stuff as we're allowed to do that in the time we have left. And then summer access is a great thing, especially for a new coach, to be able to get with the players throughout the summer. And then that's when the real work will start with, as far as building kind of the foundations of our program, installing some of our system and what we're looking for. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you all again. Thank you to Mark, Joel, Todd, obviously, and thank you all for being here. We appreciate the support. We'll send Todd over to the side of the room, so if there's any last questions, feel free to hit some one-on-one opportunities. Other than that, have a good day. Thank you.